Hello everyone. Welcome to your weekly forecast for August 5th to the 11th. I'm Ray, your astrologer, and let's get into it. So we're going to start with August 5th. That is going to be Monday. We're going to have the moon in Leo make a trine to Chiron retrograding in Aries. It's going to make a square to Uranus and Taurus, and then it's going to enter Virgo on the same day and make a conjunction to Venus. And then we also have something very important happening this day as well. This is when Mercury stations retrograde in Virgo. So we're going to want to start this week off slow. Like there could be some unexpected obstacles or hindrances today. Nothing to be worried about, but something to kind of prepare for. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it does, you're prepared for it. Uh, Sometimes we move faster by moving slower. And so I think preparing for things is a way to move slower, a little more cautiously. Semantics and details matter. Sort them out this retrograde so you can be both grounded and centered. I think I define being grounded as being in alignment with just the environment you're in, the circumstances you're in, and being centered is being in alignment with yourself, with your own values, and, kind of your own purpose. And so that's it for Monday, the 5th. And next we have August 6th, Tuesday. So on the 6th, we're going to have the moon in Virgo making a conjunction to Mercury retrograding, and it's going to make a square to Mars in Gemini. And so remember how I mentioned yesterday that semantics and the details matter? You're going to want to do your due diligence to align your actions with your words and expect a little bit of pressure today. It's kind of like that pressure when you're starting a new job or you're training a new skill and you have someone like looking over your shoulder, like just standing here and like watching what you're doing. It's that kind of pressure. It's not the pressure of like a surgeon trying to save a patient. It just feels like you're being tested. And so whether you're actually being tested or not, expect a little bit of pressure today. And just make sure that your words are lining up with your actions. Because if people will see the difference if they're not. And that's it for Tuesday, the 6th. Next we have Wednesday, August 7th. So on the 7th, the moon is in Virgo. It's going to make a square to Jupiter in Gemini. It's going to oppose Saturn retrograding in Pisces. And it's going to make a trine to Uranus in Taurus. We'll also have the Sun in Leo making a sextile to Jupiter in Gemini and Venus in Virgo making a conjunction with Mercury retrograding in Virgo. And so there's some surprising experiences to be had if you can slow down enough to appreciate them. Practice saying no to things when you're overwhelmed. When you say no to something, you make room for saying yes to other things. And so sometimes we think that we can't say no to something if we don't already have a commitment filling that slot. And what that does is it closes off the opportunity for something to come up. Because if you pick up that extra shift, what day are we talking about? Wednesday, the 7th, let's say you pick up an extra shift for today and then someone invites you to a party, and then you can't go because now you have to work, even though you would have been off. And they invited you to this party because they know you're normally off that day. And so, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just start saying no, whether you have a reason for it or not, whether it's justified or not, do it anyways. The justification for it is that you are making room to say yes to things later. You want the availability. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good way to help slow down and appreciate what we have. And that's it for August 7th. Next we have August 8th, Thursday. The moon is still going to be in Virgo. It's going to making an opposition to Neptune retrograding in Pisces, and then it is going to leave Virgo and enter Libra. And while it's in Libra today, it's going to make a trine to Pluto retrograding in Aquarius and an opposition to the North Node in Aries. So today's very foggy. Are you being confronted with reality or by someone else's illusion? Because sometimes people project their sense of reality, and their sense of reality might not be the same as our shared sense of reality, of the collective reality of everyone. And so, if you're being confronted with something and someone just says, it is just what it is, this is how life is that how life is, or is that how life is for that person? And there's a bit of a silver lining here with that confusion and illusion dilemma, and that is that fantasy is when these two things meet. When someone has an illusion, we're able to reconcile that with reality and make a space for it, whether that's, putting it in a book or making a movie out of it or whatever. That's where we get the fantasy of things. And so today can be a little bit foggy. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to do much. This whole week is about kind of slowing down a little bit. Next, we're gonna have Friday, 9th, August 9th, Friday. We're gonna have the moon is Libra all day. It's gonna make a trine to Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, and it's gonna make a sextile to Leo, to the sun in Leo. Clear the air today, communicate openly, and don't leave anything unsaid. Make sure to carry yourself with tact and poise today. A word that keeps coming up is couth. Couth. Couth, I think. But it means being well-mannered, cultured. It's about having a little bit of couth to yourself. And so I think when we think of honesty and communicating openly and clearing the air, some people think the only form of honesty is brutal honesty. And the reality is that there's different forms of honesty. We can have graceful honesty and confused honesty because sometimes we don't know where we're coming from, but we still want to be open with someone. Just try to carry yourself in a way that you can model that kind of behavior. Yeah, because whenever we have Mars and Gemini, it just makes me think of an argument of someone, screaming at each other. And so that's why I say try to have some tact. And that's going to be it for August 9th. After that, we have Saturday, August 10th. And so on Saturday, the moon is going to exit Libra and enter Scorpio. And while it's in Scorpio, it's going to make a square to Pluto retrograding in Aquarius and a sextile to Mercury retrograding in Virgo. And so the idea today is all about secrecy and the difference between secrecy and confidentiality is something that is going to come up this weekend, I think. And so for the 10th, are you comfortable with your secrets? Secrecy carries the energy of both isolation and bonding. What's said in the dark is an echo of what's heard during the day. And so just think about that. I think there's nothing wrong with secrecy. And I think once we get in tomorrow, the 11th, which we can just do now, Sunday the 11th, this kind of ties into yesterday, the 10th. And so on the 11th, we're still going to have the moon in Scorpio, and then it's going to make a sextile to Venus in Virgo. And so, not a lot of extra transits. And so, adding on to yesterday, consider how your secrets bind you to other people. Are these people or ideals something you want to be bound to? And so, I think with the difference between confidentiality and secrecy is maybe more of an umbrella word, whereas confidentiality is an expression of loyalty to yourself, to another person. Typically, it's to another person. But confidentiality is being discreet. It's keeping something a secret very intentionally because you want to respect the information. Maybe it's sensitive information. And so, with this, if you're holding secrets for someone, or a job or a relationship, that's a form of showing loyalty to it. And so sometimes there's lots of different reasons that we might go into secrecy or into confidentiality, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but what I will say is just are these things that you want to be loyal to? Because you only have to be loyal to You can choose it. You can choose what you want to be loyal to. You don't need permission to sever a relationship, to transition to a different job, to really do much. You really don't need permission to do much in this world. Um, so yeah, that's it for Sunday, the 11th. Just try to take it easy this week. Overall, overall this week, the highlights are definitely going to be Mercury retrograding on the 5th, and then the idea of being centered versus grounded. And I mentioned that's like being in alignment with yourself versus being in alignment with the situations you're in and the world around you. And to just get clear with yourself in the beginning of the week and then consider how your ideals converge with others towards the end of the week. And so, go inwards, try to figure out what you want, what you're doing, and then learn how to reconcile that respectfully and with couth with your loved ones. And that's it for this week. Stay tuned for next week. I hope to see you guys soon. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you next time.